recording this on an app in the hopes that when I get into a town, I can somehow find a way to overlay this onto the few images that I was able to get these last 4 days. I don't even know where to begin. Things have disintegrated so quickly. I left Glasgow, as my last video showed, and got 20 miles in to the trail, and had a really nice night at the shelter. I woke up the next morning, and that's when my trials began. I woke up to rain. It was not horrible rain. It was sprinkling, and it was 7 in the morning, and I knew the forecast had rain predicted for 3 days, but I didn't know what that meant. And I realized in looking at my guidebook that I had a choice. There was an exit in 2 miles that I could get off to go to Buena Vista and wait out the rain. But I decided against that because I didn't really have the time, and I didn't know how long the rain was going to last. It said 3 days in the forecast, and so it just didn't make any sense to be in a town for 3 days. So I went past that exit point, and not a mile past that exit point, the skies opened up and I was poured on. Every part of me was soaking wet within 15 minutes, and I've stayed that way for days. I can't explain to you the discomfort that comes with that. There's just no escape from the rain. You know, if you think about it, you're in the middle of the woods. Aside from the shelters, which are spaced in this area about 10 to 15 miles apart, there's no relenting from it. So I just traipsed through it, and I found myself quoting Samuel Beckett so often, from his famous 2 lines at the end of one of his works. The 2 sentences are, "I can't go on. I'll go on." And I kept doing that. I'd stop and just have the rain pounding down, being so uncomfortable, and say, "I can't go on." And then a few minutes later, "I'll go on," and I don't know how to describe the feeling that you have when you just know there's no escape. Part of me gave in to it, and I accepted that I was going to be this uncomfortable, but it's really hard when the temperature drops. So the temperature started dropping from the mid-50s probably to the low 40s, and that's when it starts to get just slightly dangerous. I wasn't worried about hypothermia, but I was starting to stress how I was going to stay healthy. And indeed, I did get sick. I got some sort of sinus infection the second day. I couldn't breathe out of my nostrils, and the 100% humidity and constant rain didn't help that. We woke up to fog every single morning, enveloped in it, as you can see from the images. But something else happened. So first thing that went was my microphone on my headphones. I didn't realize I had been recording and thinking that it was recording my voice, but realized quickly that when I started listening to them one evening that I didn't have any voice recording, so the microphone had been destroyed on my headphones. Then I noticed that on the second day there was some condensation within my LifeProof case around the lens of the camera, which frightened me. But I didn't dare take the LifeProof case off because there was so much moisture in the air that I was worried it would get into the phone. That got progressively worse to the point you see now, which is just images of blur. The moisture got into the actual camera, into the actual viewfinder or whatever that takes the pictures, and these are the images that I got on that last day out there. And I got to tell you, I really started, aside from quoting Beckett all the time, "I can't go on, I'll go on," I started questioning my whole through hike and who I was. Something interesting, I was named Spielberg by Mambo the second week, and something about being named in that way, I think has elevated what I've been able to do in a very strange way. I've never, as you know, taken video before, and I'm getting images that I've never seen before. I'm just stunned every time I get these beautiful images, and I think it has something to do with my naming. And now I'm walking through the woods without the ability to take images, to take video, and I didn't know what was happening. I started having an identity crisis in a way. My whole identity out here is a Spielberg. That's how everybody knows me. And if I don't have the ability to take video, what does that mean? And then I kept thinking, in addition to all the physical discomfort, I'm having some sort of identity crisis. And I realized I didn't know why I was doing this anymore. And I didn't know if I could do it. And the words of Samuel Beckett kept haunting me. I can't go on. I'll go on. I can't go on. I'll go on. I can't go on.